Welcome to my channel, everyone. In this video we are going to talk about SUI, Avalanche, HBAR and Dogecoin. Things are exciting, so make sure to watch until the end. And today it's going to get very interesting because we have huge bearish chart pattern which broke to the downside. And I think we are going to develop more bearish chart patterns which we have seen since 2 days. Super bearish right now. So let's just start with the performance. So what I always do is I keep currently $1,000 in the futures account, and the recent 30 days are $11,300 profit. So basically huge profits. This is always just possible because I keep my losses small. We can just jump into August. August wasn't that good. So if I see some chart patterns, if I want to trade them, then I also have to keep in mind that the chart patterns can get invalidated. This was here the case. This was here the case. Here, 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 here. I always keep my losses between $100 to $200 maximum per day. If a chart pattern works, if it breaks multiple times to the downside where we have many chart patterns, supports, which we're also going to lose for a short trade, for example, or for the long trades where we break resistance to the upside, then I can always double up my position size and go with a very high leverage, but I'm only doing it if the first chart pattern is good, worked so far, and if we are breaking more to the downside. And that's how I make those kind of trades. So you see the difference. My losses are small, my profits are very high. And if we now look into the September, then you can see here, those are, not this one right here, and this one right here. Huge profitable trades within the September with small losses on some other days. So like I said, maximum amount which I'm ready to lose is 200 per day, but the maximum amount unlimited to the upside. And yeah, like I said, I'm also thinking about taking a bit more money into the futures account because my stock account is also very good right now. The only issue is for now that I still have a lot of money into my spot area. Those are not Bitcoins or Ethereums. I'm just holding USDT, but I'm transferring my profits from my futures account into my spot account. And if I have interesting stocks which are telling me it's a must buy, then I'm going to take out money from my crypto account to buy those stocks. And since my stock account is very good, my portfolio, I'm also thinking to risk a bit more. Always keep in mind, we don't have to start trading with a huge amount of money. We can also start trading with a low amount of money. So instead of $1,000, for example, I can also keep $100 into the account. Then I wouldn't make 11K in the past 30 days. Then I would have made 1K, for example. If I reinvest for sure, then it's going to stack up a bit more and far more even. But also keep in mind, Warren Buffett makes 20 to 30% per year in average. We are making in 30 days over 1000%. Is that sustainable? No. So basically, am I willing to risk my whole life savings into cryptos, even if it's spot coin? No. Very high risk. Cryptos are high risk. If you now put leverage on it, you are making the high risk to far higher risk. Keep that in mind. That's why reinvesting is not working, in my opinion, for cryptos. Yes, for sure, over a longer time period, we can say instead of 1K, we put 1.5K, 2K into the account. And if it's going to continue like that for the next couple of months, if there is an altcoin season where we get, where we say, hey, we have the best opportunities to get into long positions, and a few weeks later, the altcoin season is going to happen, then yes, for sure, I will also go in with more money. But trying to reinvest those 11Ks, it's going to get very risky, and I don't want to lose the profits which I have worked for the past 30 days. So we just start with SUI. So for SUI, we have set $3.88. This was our target. We started to take short positions in that market stage, or even here. I don't know actually, but somewhere in that area, in that box here. However, we broke support to the downside, $3.75 right here, and we retested it. The plan was then, from there, we should sell off at least into $3.52, afterwards $3.36 to $3.30. Yeah, we also broke the $3.52 to the downside, but we didn't went into the $3.36 yet. Why do I say yet? Because if we now look over the bigger time frame, then we can see here an head and shoulders formatation. It broke to the downside so far. The most bearish target is the length of the whole head, and we put it here to the breakout point so far. If we now are going to break the price mark of $3.65 to the upside, then I can imagine that we are going to see a second retest into that fair value gap up to $3.69. And from here, get the same kind of movement like we have seen before, like this. Target is ongoing at the moment, $3.37, but I think that the $3.30 to $3.36 are more realistic at the moment. We also have to say, if the $3.30 breaks to the downside, yeah, it's not going to happen in a few hours, but maybe in a few days. Then the $3.08 are going to be the next target. If it's also going to break to the downside, then we have to measure where it's going to go, because we still have some fair value gaps down below here and in that box right here. We need to have chart patterns which direct us into those kind of price areas. So for now, SUI is short to me, even though we get this kind of price movement. And yes, SUI looks a bit better than the other coins. But we also have to say about SUI, let me take out this here from the chart. Also have to say about SUI that we had here a huge fair value gap. So basically a short squeeze happened, and that's why this price movement here is a bit more impulsive. So let's jump into Avalanche. Avalanche, we still went into our short position, but Avalanche was not the most profitable trade. Why that? Because we still got a bit more up, even here into the top area. And still, we also took the Avalanche short trade again, right here with the community post. So always check the community posts. 1 hour ago, maybe 2 hours ago, if I refresh the website. But I have also told you that the best risk to reward ratio is, for now, for the shorts, pretty good. So basically, even 3 hours ago, best risk to reward ratio to increase shorts now. Still keep in mind that we can get higher prices. That's why keep the leverage low. Ethereum, Dogecoin, TAO can still go a bit more up. 3 hours ago was right here. This was based on the information of the USDT dominance. So we used the USDT dominance to trade several coins at the same time. And once we see specific coins, like for example Avalanche breaking to the downside, then we can trade Avalanche still with the USDT dominance. But if Avalanche breaks to the downside, then we can increase just Avalanche in our position size. So $28.90 to $30.30, this was our target. I didn't delete this one so far, so let's do it now. From there, we should see a huge sell-off. This is the speculation right now. And let me take this one out of the chart. What we can see right now is two different kind of chart patterns. This here, double top pattern. For that, we have to break the $28.25 to the downside. Target is going to be $25.60. We can even drop lower to $25.15. I can still imagine that we are not going to break it to the downside in one go. Since we have here a small push to the upside, this can just be the left shoulder. Then we form something like a double top pattern, so double head pattern. And afterwards here a right shoulder where we get a bounce at $28.25. Break it to the downside. In the end of the day, it doesn't matter because the target is going to be the same for Avalanche. And once the $26.91 breaks to the downside, then I would increase my position size for Avalanche even more. If we now look over HBAR, then I can say so far exactly as predicted. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. This is currently the bigger chart pattern. The chart pattern which we traded before, because this right here was the head and shoulders formatation, which we had on the chart. Once this broke to the downside, 24.24 cents, broke to the downside, retested it, target 23 cents. We went there. So we have also formed here a bear flag or a rising wedge. Even looks like a rising wedge to me, doesn't matter. But identifying those kind of chart patterns are essential to, for example, if we have here the rising wedge, we broke here already to the downside. We got our retest. Here is the increasement of the short position or the first entry. Breakout, retest. We always jump into the retest. If we see a bearish chart pattern while we get the retest and we see a candle close, for example, lower than this, then we can increase our position size even more for this kind of price movement. So that's how we get those huge profits, which you can see we just have $1,000 in our account, but we are still managing 3.6k profits, 2.8k profits, 1.6k profits. We still manage 2k profits. We still manage 940, 550. Yeah, those kind of profits are just possible if we increase our position size heavily while getting multiple breakouts and chart patterns. So I can take this one out of the chart. What I think right now is we have had our smaller head and shoulders formatation. It developed to a bigger head and shoulders formatation. New target is the length of the head. Put it to the breakout point. Usually the breakout point is here, but we put it to the highest point afterwards. Currently 22.3 cents. If we are not bearish enough, we have a bigger head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And the right shoulder is currently developing within a bear flag. So basically, if I here take the maximum length, or even did it here, then the target is going to be, once we break the 23 cents to the downside, 20.5 cents. This was our scenario quite a while ago, because we have had here also a bear flag. Instead of breaking it to the downside, we broke it to the upside, so we invalidated this chart pattern. What I have to here is just going to happen a bit later, in my opinion. So keep that in mind. The whole situation is not looking good. The target of the bear flag, and here I was very nice and not that bearish. I just took the length from this sell-off and I put it here to the breakout point. Also directing us into 22.2 cents, I guess. Here's the price mark, 22.1 cents. So basically, this area here is getting very interesting. But if the bear flag is going to play out far more bearish, then we can take the length of the whole down movement, which is the same length as the head from the head and shoulders formatation. And this is most likely going to happen, in my opinion, this one down below here. Because if we have several chart patterns which are directing us into one direction, then this direction is most likely to happen. But if we have two chart patterns which are directing us into the same price level, the 20.5 cents, then this is also going to happen most likely. So I can still imagine, since we have two different targets, that we can get here, get our retest, sell off more. This is my preferred scenario at the moment. So let me just make it a bit better. So here was also a scenario. Once we break the 24 cents to the upside, then we should see slightly higher high but we should sell off in the end of the day. We didn't get it. So basically, I can take this one out of the chart. What I don't want to take out of the chart is this huge arrow. But I think this is going to happen. This is the altcoin season. It's going to symbolize the altcoin season. For HBAR, we are currently in the altcoin season, in my opinion. Once the 17 cents break, once we get to 70 cents, then we have to look if we are going to form some bullish chart patterns. We can still drop far more, still possible. But once we see some very bullish chart patterns with a nice breakout, this should be the beginning of the altcoin season for HBAR. So we see BNB, the hype coin Ethereum, it's their time to shine. They are doing new all-time highs. For example, Ethereum did one, BNB did one 3 days ago. I'm not looking daily into BNB, but I'm showing you on the daily time frame how an altcoin season is going to look like. So currently we are here. You can see the green trend line here, this green line. There is the price right now. Look where we are. Look where the all-time high were, and look where we were in the beginning of the year. We are far lower than that from the all-time high. We are far away. I'm just taking the high which we have since 2025. We are still 40% to the downside, so we still have to do an, I don't know, 75% push to the upside. If we now look over BNB USDT, this is the altcoin season for BNB. New all-time high, pushing more and more. Look, we even got today a new all-time high. This is how an altcoin season looks like. Every coin is bearish. BNB, nope, it's still going up more. And what I have drew here is, just to explain you that, it's not about BNB is going to sell off from that point. It's just showing that once BNB sells off, the other cryptos are also going to sell off. But once BNB makes a dead cat bounce, this right here is going to be the altcoin season for HBAR, and then HBAR is going to get this kind of price movements, where BNB is just getting this one. That's how the altcoin season works. So back to HBAR. Did I forget anything to say? So far not. It looks bearish to me, unless we break the 24.3 cents to the upside, which is the old support trend line, which is now resistance. If we now look over Dogecoin, then we have to say about Dogecoin that the whole movement which we got, we have also said 26 cents is going to get the target. Once we break it to the downside, we can be more bearish. We have many H patterns. What are H patterns? Well, the letter H, you see it in the chart. This is the letter H. Once it breaks to the downside, then we should sell off more. Most likely, it's always the length of the first sell-off. So this length right here, we put it then to the breakout point, and look where we went. Not perfectly, but very near to it. What we can also say is, this here was an H pattern. This here is also an H pattern. This right here is also an H pattern. I was very nice, and I have just taken the least bearish target, which is this H pattern. We put it to the breakout point of 26 cents, and we get into the area 23.59 cents. There we also have support. What if I'm more bearish? What if we short-term get into 27 cents? Like this, to fill the fair value gap. And from here sell off. What if this is one big H pattern? Then I have the target for you on the chart, which is the length of this whole sell-off. We put it also here to the 26 cents if they break to the downside. Maximum target can be 21.1 cents, 20.5 cents. There is support, so we can even drop down below there. On the midterm, I still expect Dogecoin at 18 cents without having any kind of chart patterns. Keep that in mind. We don't have any kind of chart patterns which are leading us into 18 cents. So that's why this is just speculation. Here for the H patterns, we have patterns, we have targets. And they are going to lead us into those targets with a very high chance. Then for now it's maximum extension 21 cents. Unless we break here to the downside, get another bearish chart pattern, get a new target, break it also to the downside, get another bearish target, break it also to the downside, and then over the time, with many chart patterns, we can see the 18 cents. Yeah, we don't need always chart patterns to get price movements, but if we see some chart patterns, then we have an orientation where the price is going to go. So I still say 18 cents for Dogecoin are pretty realistic. This whole up movement to the upside we have predicted also pretty good. It was even more bullish than I expected, but we have extended our targets a bit more, and the whole area between round about 30 cents, we have also talked about that on our channel, because we had chart patterns which directed us into those areas. Now we have chart patterns which directs us into lower areas, 18 cents, where we also have fair value gaps, and where we are going to drop, we don't know it yet. We have to wait a bit longer, and if you don't want to miss it out, then subscribe my channel. Almost daily I'm uploading updates to the coins on the right side. We see each other on the Render, TAO, Kaspa and ONDO update, and TAO is going to get very interesting.